debuting in Medarot 8 as part of a fairy-type series alongside her sister Twinkle Star. It is FLY02 Shiny Star, with a kit of Disturbance, double melee trap, float legs, and the leg ability of Battle Stance, which buffs all leg stats minus armor and heavy limit when grazing or dodging incoming attacks. Now, as a model available in the permanent banner, much like Twinkle Star, Shiny Star is one of those models you may sleep on very largely up until a point, but then when you realize just what she has at her disposal, she can make herself an absolutely immense and menacing threat, not just in the term of passive aggression, but also in whether she allows enemies to use certain skills or not. Disturbance on her head is a setup-based skill and a trap-based skill that, once placed on the field, will actively negate any non-attacking skills the enemy tries to use. Now, these skills can range from support skills like shoot boost, dominion, field control, hypercrep, precognition, healing skills like stat cleanse, super repair, charge repair, or even defense skills like perfect guard or melee guard or anything of the like. If it is a non-attacking skill, that is to say, if it is not a shooting skill or a melee skill, or in many cases even a metaforce, the enemy side is not allowed to use it at all, and they effectively waste their turns trying to brute force the trap into expiration. Melee Trap on both arms is another trapping-based skill that she does share mastery in, that upon placing it on the field will check any enemies that use melee skills, and if it does correctly catch one, it will deal passive-aggressive punish damage just for doing so. Now, much like any other possible trap, with the exception of course, Disturbance, upon being triggered, it will deal damage that is actually capable of breaking things if it falls within a certain amount of their HP range. Now, it's not capable of outright killing on its own, but that passive aggression can be made very useful as a good way to deter enemies from using specific skills and kind of corral them into a certain field to kind of turn the tides in your favor by preventing them or even discouraging them from using certain skills. Float legs means that, much like her sister, she will have relatively solid coverage across all terrains at A rank across the board, but compared to her sister, who may have just a little bit more on the resist stats, she instead focuses more on a more dodgy build with slightly higher HP. And on topic of HP, she is packing about 2,900 for the head, about 2,650 per arm, and legs at about 3,250. So stats are just a little bit more spread out compared to her sister Twinkle Star, but in terms of what they're packing, their mobility stays about the same, whereas Shiny Stars is packing about 571, whereas the sister is packing relatively similar. However, Shiny Star is packing an evade stat of over 1200 at 1236, and given that her leg ability does require her to dodge or graze a lot, this very easily goes hand in hand with what she's designed to do. So the more times that she dodges or grazes attacks, the higher her leg stats go, which, not only for sake of her mobility, is actually good at helping keep her alive, because compared to Twinkle Star, who has resist stats in the 800s, Shiny Star unfortunately is a little lighter in the armor department, packing about 758 for the melee resist, and just shy of 800 there for her shoot resist. So she will take considerably more damage than Twinkle Star, but if she's allowed to dodge or graze successfully, this can kind of be curbed to a point and allow her to stay alive on the field longer. That being said, as a pure set score, much like her sister, I do sadly have to rate her about a 4.5 out of 10 as a pure set, primarily for the fact that even though Disturbance is an immensely useful skill to make use of, between that and Melee Trap, they are both the exact same kind of thing, a trap, which means you're only allowed one on the field at a time, so you have to decide whether you're going to deter the enemy from using melee-based parts, or if you're not going to allow them to use any non-attacking skills. Plus, even though Battle Stance does make her possibly faster and dodgier for every graze she does, that is kind of expecting a lot from her, if I'm completely honest, and the light resist stats do make her a very easy target to take out if you're able to take her down fast enough. As mixed parts, though, I do have to very easily rate her a 7 out of 10, and much like her sister as well, I could make arguments for 7.5 or even 8.5 to a point, exclusively for the head skill of Disturbance, because even though it may not seem like much at first glance, that and First Aid are probably the two greatest non-attacking skills you could ever fit on a team, And because they're setup skills, they are very flexible that you could put pretty much anywhere as long as you can fit it within the Metal Mastery. Because First Aid may passively restore parts over time, but Disturbance is a very good way of buying yourself a few extra turns if you find the enemy decide to try to brute force Disturbance off the field. And if they somehow choose to, all you have to do is just reset it and just kind of wait for them to brute force it while you buy yourself that time for a prep to prepare a nuke or heal your allies or anything else of the like.